In today's video, we're checking out some RGB lighting from Ulanzi. These lights are also magnetic. They have 20 different preset modes, and I'm going to walk you through each of the different features of these lights and also show you how they work with the rest of the studio lights off. Let's get into it. Welcome to the channel, folks. My name's Shane. Before we get going, a massive thank you to Ulanzi for sending these lights out for this particular video. I really appreciate it. Just to let you know, they're not paying me to make this video, but they're letting me hold onto these sample units. All thoughts about these will be my own. If you're new to the channel, you might not know I'm a huge fan of RGB lights. I've been using one in this particular set now for a long time. Also got another one in my studio room, which is far larger, and they just add a sense of niceness to any set. If I turn off all of these lights, it looks far more bland than it does right now. These are very, very functional. One of the best things about them, as I've already mentioned, is they're completely magnetic. So if you do unboxing videos, you can place them up above your subject and light up your hands, for example. So if I was filming this box, I could set these to daylight rather than blue, and I'd be able to showcase products nice and simply by using a microphone boom arm. Nice and simple, very functional. They can also be placed in a number of different situations, which I'll show you now. There's a lot to like about these lights when it comes to its use case. Not only can they be stood on either side without any problems, you can sit them flat on the desk. You can also angle them towards you or away from you, nice and simply. They also can work with your favorite tripod, which is awesome. And they're magnetized, so you can stick another one on top of it without the fear of it falling off. Now, if you were to shake this too much, it would still probably fall off, but it's quite secure on there. You can feel it really pull the magnets towards at about that distance, and then it's not going anywhere. Just make sure you have it the right way. If I have it this way, it doesn't want to stick, right? So it is polarized in a particular way. Just make sure you have that set up right. On the back of the unit, we have a USB-C cable, which is provided in the box. This allows us to charge the internal batteries. Now, these take about 2.5 hours to charge once they're completely flat. The use time will vary depending on how bright you have them. If you're running them at 100% brightness, you're not going to get as much battery life out of them as if you were running them at, say, 25 or 30%. So just keep that in mind. It's very heavily dependent on the brightness level. I'm next going to show you how this works and what it can do. So to power it on, it's this button on the top right. As you can see from the screen now, we're at 50% brightness at 9,000 Kelvin. So we can change any parameter, and to select the parameter we want to adjust, we use the M button below the power button here. And as you can see from the arrow on the left, it's now cycling between the color temperature and the brightness. So the brightness up and down will be these keys over here. So you can change that to suit your particular needs. And if we want to change the actual Kelvin, we go back up here, and that's at its sort of coolest light right now, 9,000 K. As I bring this down to about 5,600, that's usually around where the daylight temperature would be. And if we bring it further down this way, it's going to get a whole lot more warm. As you can see from my hand behind the light here, it's vastly different at 2,500 as it is even at 5,500, and again, all the way up to 9,000. Up next, I'm going to show you RGB mode. Now, this will be represented by this color scale across the top. So to get into RGB mode, push the power button once. As you can see, I'm on hue 0. Hue 0 is all the way across here, and that's that red orangey sort of color like that. Now, the cool thing about it is we get saturation and brightness. Saturation is basically like a mix. How much of that color do you want mixed in with natural light? So I'm going to show you how this works. Now, the good thing about this scale is you don't just have to go forward. If you're at 0 and you want to get to, say, 350, you can do that by going backwards this way, which is great. You don't have to just go forwards. But for the sake of the demonstration here, I'm just going to cycle through all of this as far as it goes now, just to show you what kind of different colors we can get. And that is close to all the way there. And if you want to just be really specific, you can just click the button once and it will allow you to go in one button increments, which I think is pretty great. Now, to change the saturation, simply tap the M button. It brings the arrow down, and we can change up the saturation level from 100% down to 68. So you probably notice the intensity's changed, and all the way down to 0, which looks like a regular light. Now, there's also a really cool third mode, which I'm going to show you now, and this allows you to get some really great effects. So if you're doing any type of short film and you need a lightning effect, for example, or any other number of effects, this light will have you covered. So To get into that mode, push the power button once more, and it brings up cop car. So as you can see now, it's flashing. This will obviously depend on where you live, if that's accurate to your location or not. We get ambulance. We get fire engine. Lightning, which is one of my personal favorite ones, and it's sparse as well, which is great. I'm going to be using this one in a short film coming up, which is a horror movie. So yeah, this is going to be great. We get fireworks, TV. So this just kind of dims and changes color slightly every now and then, just to emulate a TV in the other room. Candle, which is a nice warm light. We get party. We get faulty bulb, which is another one of my favorites. This is definitely something I will be using very soon. We get pulsing. We get a strobe light effect, pretty wild. We get the RGB strobe, so this will just change colors nice and quickly. Paparazzi to emulate that of flash photography. Emergency. HL beam. Red flash. That's pretty cool. Nice and simple. Green flash, same thing but green. Blue flash. HSI slow, so this will slowly cycle through the colors. And HSI fast, which is just the same thing, just quicker. We also get a cop car, and that's back to number 1. So 20 different effects. Pretty cool. Now, if you want to do some sort of overhead product showcase video, like an unboxing or a tutorial video, as you can see right now, this camera is looking down onto the top of one of the lights, but by simply just using the magnet on the back of this and setting the light to 50%, the subject is going to be far better lit now. So this will make for an easy way of doing unboxing videos if you already have something like a mic stand. Up next, I want to show you just how well these work in a dark room, starting with this one behind me right here, which is currently set to red, or close enough to red. Now, let's set up one that's at 5600K and use it as something to light my face here. This is at 50% brightness or 49% brightness. I'm just gonna magnetically place it onto my microphone stand here. So already I'm setting a very different atmosphere in the room. If we bring over another one at 5600K, just anywhere into shot here, I'm gonna move it around just to show you what it can do. These are the kind of effects you can get just by using these little lights. So if you like a dark set and you're trying to create some atmosphere, these will do a great job. And lastly, I just want to show you how each of these color modes worked and what happens when you move them around in the dark. So this one's currently set to party. I'm gonna put that one on the mic stand here. This one's currently set to RGB strobe. I'll just put that on the table. And this one is set to HSI fast. So I'm just gonna move this over here. And these are the kind of effects you can get in the dark. Let's wrap this video up by talking about the pros and cons. So there's only a couple of things that might be a deal breaker if you're thinking about buying one of these lights. It is very small. It's far smaller than something like this Inostro C1. The C1 is far brighter. It also has more bulbs. This has 31 LED bulbs in here, and it's also mostly plastic, whereas some of the other ones that you can buy have far more metal, but even the metal one here doesn't stick to anything, right? So the benefit of this is it will work just about everywhere. The only other small kind of minor critique is you've just got to make sure that you're getting the polarity correct. Otherwise it can just fly out and go across the desk. So just make sure you've got both hands on 2 if you buy 2, and just make sure you got them the right way before you let go of them. And they're not that stable once you start stacking more than 2. So at 2, this is fairly stable. I wouldn't have any problems with that. Once you get the third one on here, that's where it becomes a little unstable. So just keep that in mind. If you've already got your own YouTube channel and you want to up your lighting game, having some RGBs on hand is really cool. If you're a filmmaker and you need some effects lighting, this will also do the job. Just don't expect too much of it away from camera. You can't light a full room with any of these, but they are very bright considering how small they are. While these have some great functionality, one of the most practical things I love about it is you can leave them on the charger and use them at the same time, which is what I'm doing with that one back there. The battery life on these is great, but the fact you can leave them hooked up to a USB-C charger is pretty sweet. Thanks again for watching. A massive thanks to Ulanzi for sending these out. If you want to find out more about them, links will be below. Thanks again. Catch you soon. See ya.